This is Tom Colley for Through the Ropes Boxing. Delighted to be joined with none other than world-renowned trainer and boxing pundit Teddy Atlas. Teddy, first of all, I'm a fan. It's a pleasure to be talking with you. Tell me, you're out here, Saudi Arabia, the first undisputed fight. First undisputed fight in 25 years, Teddy. You were there, I'm sure, Lennox Lewis versus Holyfield. Does this one feel different, the same?
Of course it feels different because it's now. It's now. Of course it feels different because it's the only one that is relative right now. And the other one, it was significant but didn't carry the significance that this one does, only because there hadn't been that gap. There hadn't been quite that space of time before since we had one unified champion in the heavyweight division. So this feels important. That one just felt like a good fight, a good big man against a good little, which is common, which is familiar to this, which has in common with this, a real good big man with a real good little man. Who's going to win? That's been a question asked for forever in the sport of boxing. It's an intriguing question. Everyone wants to know. That was really what was at the forefront back then. But what's at the forefront now is that we can have one unified heavyweight champion, which we haven't had for 25 years. And the sport was becoming less relative in the last couple of years because the best fights weren't being made with the best guys. Promoters were keeping their guys separate. And then all of a sudden, a guy named Turkey Al-Sheikh came along, and all of a sudden he started saying, no, we're going to change it. We're going to start making the best guys against the best guys. And it's made the sport more relative. And then to put, that old saying, you put a cherry on top of the ice cream? Well, the cherry, it's a nice ice cream sundae that His Excellency has put together fights that people want to see. And they weren't getting them. But you know what the cherry on top is? You're going to get one heavyweight champ. The most important division in the sport is going to have one champion. That's the cherry on top. That's why we're here.
How do you view the fight, Teddy? I mean, a lot's been made of Fury's size. Usyk's obviously a smaller man, but superb boxing ability. But Tyson, we know, also has superb boxing ability. Do you think the size is going to play a factor in this fight?
Yeah, I think it is. If Tyson Fury makes it. But which way? Will he make it with his girth, with his physicality going forward, which he can do, and try to impose his physicality and his will on a guy who also has a great will? Or the way I think he should do it, control the outside with the jab, with his length, with his wingspan, and put the burden on Usyk to have to take the gamble, the risk, the chances to get close enough to do what he does magnificently. Make you miss and make you pay. You can't do that if a guy's keeping you on the outside. You can't counterpunch a guy if he's giving you nothing to counter. So for me, the real interesting thing is, does Fury use his size that way on the outside and put all the pressure on Usyk to figure it out?
Do you anticipate this fight will go to points, or do you think there's going to be stoppage in this fight? Do you think either man can stop each other? Are they capable of that? The consensus, the logical way, if there's anything logical, which we found out many times, a lot of things that are not logical happen in the square circle. But if there's anything that's supposed to be logical, you would think it's going to go rounds. But I wouldn't be shocked if there was a stoppage. I mean, if Fury figures out a way maybe to go to the body of Usyk, who has been affected, maybe that affects him, maybe not. Maybe it does. And look, we haven't seen too many guys that tall that go to the body in a consistent manner. But maybe he's formulated a way to do that for this camp. And also Usyk's not a huge puncher, but what he is, he's a combination puncher. And what he is a clean puncher. When he makes you miss, he catches you clean. Who says that he can't catch, Fury clean? Who's got a great chin? Great chin. But who's to say you can't catch him by making him miss and hit him a blind punch? There's a lot of scenarios you could make, obviously, to go the distance, but there's a couple you could make to go shorter. Can I get your prediction for Saturday night, Teddy?
No, you can't. No, listen, it's very hard. I think that I would favor Fury. If he can control the outside, it's going to be very difficult for Usyk. But I'm not going to flip-flop. I'm not going to be a phony. I already said on my podcast that I picked Usyk, so I'm going to stay with that. I'm going to stay with what I picked, Usyk. But I think it's going to be, the burden is going to be on his shoulders to figure out a way. If Tyson Fury decides to use that jab that's as long as a phone pole, if he decides to use that and stay, half a block away from him and force him to figure out how he's going to get past that, that's going to be difficult for Usyk. But at the end of the day, you know what his greatest strength is, Usyk?
Yeah, go on.
Well, most people say good hand speed, great legs, counter punching, technically solid. That's all there. His greatest strength, he's a great winner. He's been winning since he was a kid. He won the gold medal in the Olympics. He won the cruiserweight titles. He put them all together. He went up and won the heavyweight title and then beat the guy again in his home country. He's a great winner. He figures out ways to win.
Points?
Yeah.
Teddy Atlas, thank you for speaking to Through the Ropes Boxing. It's been a pleasure.